Today we're talking about the emotional, educational one-on-one connection with HealthTree Coach. And you may know or you may not know that the HealthTree Foundation for Multiple Myeloma has so many resources, programs, products designed to aid you in your myeloma journey and to accelerate research for a cure. And one of the ways that we really provide support and just promoting well-being is through this coach program. And I'm excited for you guys to learn more about it. There may be people on that are already coaches, already coachees. You may be here because you're interested in the program, but you're not quite sure you can commit to it either way. We're happy to have everybody here and to have a good discussion today. It's now my pleasure to introduce Rozalynn to you. She is the HealthTree Coach Director and wife of myeloma patient Richard Hite. Rozalynn is an occupational therapist and mother of 3 beautiful children. She's passionate about providing support, education, and resources to help others live full and active lives. Roz, I'm excited for you to share, and go ahead and we can get started with your presentation.
Super. Thank you, Audrey. Thanks for that kind introduction. I'm always grateful for the opportunity to share about the coach program, and especially excited to be here at this chapter meeting with you today. I really look forward to sharing about the program and answering any and all questions that you have. We can go to the next slide. The HealthTree Coach Program, as Audrey mentioned, offers personalized one-on-one support from a myeloma patient or a caregiver to other patients or caregivers. HealthTree's program is a little bit different from others that maybe you've heard of or are aware of, in that individuals can choose their own coach and talk to them on a continuing basis. Other programs available offer a one-time call with an assigned mentor. You might be familiar with the LLS First Connection or Be the Match, Peer Connect program. Those are great programs. They're just set up a little differently than ours. Our program's different in that it's self-directed and you can find support from someone who has experience in the areas that you're interested in, and you can choose your own coach. There's a lot of resources out there. There's so much available. There's group support available, support groups, this wonderful chapter. I know when my husband was diagnosed, I went to a support group at our cancer center, and it was for patient caregivers with all types of cancer. And it was helpful for me to hear from others and how they were navigating this whole new world of cancer. But I really longed to talk to someone who could relate to me, to what I was going through. Before Richard was diagnosed, we have never heard of myeloma. We had no clue what it was. We were young. My husband was diagnosed at 39. Our kids were just 6, 9, and 11 years old. And as everyone, when this happens, I was scared to death. And I went to every treatment with Richard, and when we went, we would just scan the room when we got there, just looking for anyone who looked like us, basically anyone who was younger than 70. And whenever we saw someone, we would find out what their story was. Why were they there? And we were hoping that they could relate to myeloma and that we could become friends. All the younger patients usually had a different type of cancer and didn't necessarily connect with us. And so I just continued feeling those feelings of desperation and wanting to talk to someone who could relate to what we were experiencing, as we were both still working, we were parenting and trying to figure out this new diagnosis and what the future looked like for us at that stage of life. And this was my story, and everyone's story is so different, but regardless of your age or stage of life, that single principle remains the same. It's so comforting to be able to talk to someone who can relate to what you're experiencing, who has that shared experience and can offer personalized understanding. And I've just seen and I've experienced personally that when that connection happens, both people are impacted in a positive way. The one offering support and also the one receiving support. And we'll talk more about this as we go on today. But because I was so desperately wanting that personal connection, I really jumped at the chance to help create and lead out the coach program when it launched in 2019. We've seen a tremendous amount of response and growth in the program. We now have over 200 coaches giving support and over 2,000 coachees receiving support in the program. And it's been so exciting to see that happen and the growth transpire. Let's go to the next slide. So how does the coach program work? Like all HealthTree programs and tools, the coach program is all run through our website. It's strictly online. Our team created a short video that really, I think it gives a really nice view, an overview of how everything works. So I wanted to share that with you now.
The HealthTree Coach Program is a free service offered by the HealthTree Foundation to provide personalized peer-to-peer support. HealthTree coaches are patients or caregivers who want to give back by sharing what they've learned to help make it easier for others. The free program is open to all patients and caregivers and is easily accessible through our website. To find and work with your own coach, you can register on our website. You will be given access to view all of the coach profiles. You can then select one who has experience in the areas you are seeking. Connections are made directly on the website. Once connected, you can communicate with your coach in a way that works best for both of you, by phone, email, text, video chat, or in person. To become a coach, you can register on our website. Coaches commit to volunteer 8 hours a month for up to a year. When registering, coaches create a profile that includes the areas they have experience, their location, photo, and more about their personal story. They also receive initial and ongoing training and support. Visit healthtree.org to find or become a coach today.
I'm a visual person, so I love that video just providing an overview of what the program looks like, the website, and how it works. As you saw in our intro video, you heard from our our chief technical officer and heard about our development team. It's so amazing for us to have access to a development team. And as JP said in that video, we're constantly learning from those who are using our tools and figuring out what works and what doesn't and how we can make it better. And because of that, since the program began in 2019, the coach website's had 2 major updates, and we're always looking at ways to make it more functional and easy to use. Our most recent update was just launched the beginning of this year in January, and it included some exciting things. It has a fresh new design, but also has enhancements that really increase usability more. The new design really helps you find what you're looking for. It's much more mobile and tablet friendly, and it includes an exciting new feature, which I have loved. It's called Find Me a Coach. So the hardest part seems to be making that connection. So once you register, that's the easy part, but then it's figuring out, okay, which coach is right for me. So we've made that easier, and you can search for a coach in 2 different ways. First, you can browse through our list of coaches according to the areas of interest or expertise that you're looking for. There's a search bar that you can put in keywords. It'll pull up those keywords from a coach's profile, or we have filters, an updated and refined filtering system. So you can refine your search, or if that feels overwhelming or like it's too much for you, you can use this new feature called Find Me a Coach. So when you click on Find Me a Coach, it again will ask you for those areas that you're seeking support, education, and resources. And you can choose those that are meaningful to you right at this time with what you're experiencing. And then once that request is submitted, I'll review that request and find a coach who matches up with the areas that you're seeking. And I connect the 2 of you. Once the requests are submitted in either way, the coach is notified. And once accepted, both coach and coachee arrange time to talk, and then your coaching relationship has begun. And it just evolves in whichever way that's meaningful to both of you. We see that some may only speak or correspond once or twice, and nothing more seems to be needed. Others schedule regular calls and visits. It's just completely up to the coach and coachee what that relationship looks like. I was just talking to a coach yesterday, and she was saying that she still speaks with some of the coachees who connected with her several years ago, and that their relationship has evolved and formed into a friendship where they just keep in touch naturally because they care about one another. And so that's fun and exciting to see. Next slide. So who are the coaches? As I mentioned earlier, coaches are myeloma patients or caregivers who are willing to give back by sharing what they've learned to help make it easier for someone else. We ask them to commit for up to 8 hours a month for up to 1 year as a volunteer. And once they register, we provide initial training and orientation, as well as ongoing training and support each month for all of the coaches. Something that I get asked a lot, or people will say, "Oh, I don't know everything about myeloma, so I couldn't be a coach." But you don't have to know everything about myeloma to be a coach. I tell people coaches share what they know. You share what you have experience in, you share your personal experience, you share the resources that you're familiar with that have helped you, and you share those with someone else so that they can utilize those and it will make their life easier. If coaches don't know the answer to a question, or if they don't have experience on a certain topic that the coachee is asking for, they can help the coachee research and help find the information together. Or they can refer that individual to another coach, or come to our coach team and ask for guidance or support, and we help each other in that way. Today, I thought it would be most meaningful to put some faces with the program and allow you to hear directly from the coaches. So I'm going to start with a video from Marty. And in this short video, you'll hear why he chose to become a coach and the impact it has made not only on those he has coached, but also on him personally.
It's been beyond my wildest dream. I've helped a number of patients along the way, and there's one that really sticks out to me. He was getting ready to go through a stem cell transplant. He found my bio and saw that I had been through stem cell transplants, and then reached out to the organization, who then reached out to me. We had a conversation. Our first conversation lasted an hour and 45 minutes. And there was an immediate bond between us. He was getting ready to go through a stem cell transplant and didn't understand what was involved. And I used the tools that HealthTree provided me with to be able to coach him in such a way that he felt comfortable about it, even though he was somebody who's diagnosed. But yet, when you're talking to somebody who's been through what you're about to go through, it's very, very different than when you're talking to a doctor or a nurse. Any of the questions that were out of my field, I referred him to the doctor, as I've been taught, and I gave him the strength, the hope, to know that he's going to get through it and that I would be by his side to support him. And when he told me that I changed his life, it was one of the most gratifying and fulfilling moments that I've ever experienced, because I'm a sales and marketing guy, so to speak. I'm not a doctor, I'm not a nurse. I'm just somebody who developed multiple myeloma. And to be able to give back in that way was so rewarding for me that it just beyond words. And I continue to do it. Whenever somebody reaches out to me, I'm there to support them.
I love that. I love hearing Marty's experience and the impact the program has made on him and on other people. It's so meaningful. Let's go to the next slide. Well, the coach program, this is another question we get asked frequently, is how much does it cost? Well, I'm happy to say the coach program is free. It's available to all myeloma patients or caregivers. And next up, I wanted to share Alicia's story with you. And Alicia started off as a coachee in the program, receiving support. So I thought it would be great for you to hear her experience on the other side. So let's play that video now.
I was diagnosed with multiple myeloma about 4 years ago. And when I was diagnosed, I looked for support from people. And every time I would go to a doctor's visit or to any kind of a clinic, I would look around the room, try to find someone to connect with. Other friends introduced me to other people who had myeloma, but it was usually male, a little bit older than me. And I always wished that I could connect with someone that was also a female, close to my age, different criteria that I was kind of looking for. And during the pandemic, sitting around my house, I found HealthTree. And I began to look through HealthTree and I found coaching. And so I decided that I would like a coach, and I looked for someone. It's really interesting within the HealthTree format that you can select the criteria that you're looking for. So I could then find a coach who had the criteria that I was looking for. I began being coached by someone, and she gave me tips and hints on how to take care of some side effects that I was going through. And she had been through similar things. And one of the most interesting things that I've seen through my coach is that she has different maintenance type things she's doing. She's living with myeloma, but she's living. She's, encouraging to me that she's going on with life and living an amazing life. So that was very encouraging to me. And through the time that I was speaking with her with coaching and getting to know the HealthTree website better, I decided, I've been doing this for a while, so maybe I could be a coach. So I studied the university. I went through the few things that they wanted me to go through, and now I'm a coach. And I've had my first coaching patient a few weeks ago, and a connection that, I don't know, maybe a short time, maybe a longer time, but it was encouraging to me that I could then share my knowledge with someone else. Because really, before I became a coach, while I was still being coached, I felt very new. I still felt like myeloma was very new to me. And then I realized my coach had been in it about the same amount of time that I had. So I had a lot to give. And I signed up as a coach, and I now am part of the coaching team, but I also have a coach. And I'm looking forward to this summer being able to go to the coaching retreat to get to know other coaches and other people that are dealing with myeloma and the ways that they're handling it and how they're living life. So I would say the best part of coaching for me has been the knowledge that I've gained through it and the encouragement and hope that I've gained from being coached and also from being a coach. I hope that I'm giving that education and encouragement to others.
I was really excited to share Alicia's story with you because she has experience on both sides of this program, like I said. And hearing that personally from her, I think is so much more powerful than hearing how it works from me. I love how she shared that coaching has brought her hope on both sides. She felt hope through her coach, and now she works to extend and share that hope that she has with other people that now she's coaching. And really, that's the essence of the coach program, because coaches offer hope by sharing with others what they've done, encouraging them that they can do it too. They're further along on the path and they're turning around and saying, come on, if I can do it, you can do it. Let's do this together. And it's so powerful. And I really, truly love being a part of it. Let's go to the next slide. I know that that was a lot of video, but like I said, I think it's much more helpful hearing of coaches and coachees' personal experience with the program than hearing from me to really understand and feel the personal impact the program has on those that participate, the impact that it makes on them in their day-to-day. As you heard from Marty, I thought it's so powerful. He shared, in giving, he also has received. And I hear this frequently from coaches that they'll say, yeah, I've been coaching, but I feel like I'm getting more out of it than I'm giving. And I always just say the coach program is a win-win to me. As I mentioned, coaches receive training, ongoing support, and education, which helps them personally. But then they turn around and share that with those that they're coaching, and both of them benefit from it. So coaches give a lot. They give of their time, they give of their experience, and they give and share resources, but they also receive a lot back in that fulfillment. And coachees receive They receive support, education, personal connection, that friendship that is created. And the coaches receive those same things along with that satisfaction of serving others, which is such a gift. I wanted to end just with some final thoughts that have been shared with us about the program. So first from a coachee and then from a coach. So one of the coachees shared with me, she said, "Thank you for connecting me with my coach. He's awesome. In a short time, he provided me with valuable information that I was not able to find myself. I'm amazed at how resourceful he is." And I chose this because I think this is a common thing. We get a lot of coachees, patients and caregivers who are newly diagnosed. I was just reading a bio this morning from a woman that she's completely overwhelmed and newly diagnosed and just trying to figure out how to handle day to day with what's being thrown at her and all the information that's thrown at her. And coaches can help with that. Coaches can help break it down. They can help provide tools and resources that maybe you could find by yourself, but you're so overwhelmed at different stages of that process that it's helpful to have someone who has a clear head that can help you find that information that really is valuable and needed at that moment with where you're at. The second, I wanted to share feedback that was given from a coach. And he said, "I have to say that I find the experience of coaching most rewarding. The more we can help others, especially the newly diagnosed, the better off we'll all be. We'll expand clinical trial participation and maybe work ourselves out of a job with a cure." And I love this. And again, it's reaching patients where they're at. And you don't have to be newly diagnosed to participate in the program. Any stage along that process, you can find a coach and it can be helpful. And people can come in and out of coaching. It's really helpful when someone's newly diagnosed with helping them find resources, utilize resources, but say you're experiencing a relapse or say you're just further along in the journey and you feel lonely and you want to talk to someone, you can reach out and find a coach. If you do get to that point where you're experiencing relapse, you have questions about treatments and want to talk to someone who's had a specific treatment, it's a great time to reach out to a coach and find out what their experience has been with that treatment. If you want to participate in a clinical trial or you're considering it and you're nervous and want to talk to someone who's done a clinical trial, you can reach out to a coach who has participated, find out what their personal experience has been, what worked well, what questions they suggest you ask, who the process they suggest, whatever it may be, you can find that personalized support. Coaches really are your personal cheerleader, and they give focused support based on what you need and want. So we're not trying to just fit your needs into this. You come to us saying, "This is what I'm scared about. This is what I need more information on. This is what I want to learn about how to navigate." Then you can click up and find someone who can match up with exactly that experience that you need. Being a coach I see this over and over from the coaches, and they tell me it's such a rewarding experience. And hopefully both parties, the coachee and the coach, just leave that experience in the relationship both being strengthened, encouraged, and filled with more hope. That truly is our goal. Let's move on to the next slide. And I just want to remind everyone, if you are looking for personalized support, or if you want to share what you've learned to help others, consider joining the coach program. You have something to gain or something to share. We'd love to match you up with that. There really is something for everyone. And as I mentioned earlier, whatever stage and phase you're at, however you want to participate, you can do that by going to our website, using this. Well, we know you're already a member of the community, our HealthTree community, because you're here. So you can use the same email and password that you use with the community program, with other HealthTree programs, using our single sign-on to get started. If you have questions, we're always available. So don't hesitate to reach out. You can email me. I included my email there. So if you have any questions, don't hesitate to contact me directly. I'm more than happy to answer any questions that you have. And you can also call our support line. They can help you with the website. They can answer questions about the coach program and help provide any of that you need. But today, I'm happy to take any of your questions here. Happy to answer any questions you might have, again, about the program, about the process, or any and all of it.
Awesome. Thank you, Roz. Wow. Choking on my own spit there. I appreciate you and the time you took to prepare this and just all the work and hours that you put into directing the coach program. Um, as we wait for questions to come in, one of my questions that I had was, as you know, the HealthTree Foundation is expanding to different diseases, do we plan to replicate this coach program in um, every disease, and what does that kind of look like?
That's a great question. And we have just recently launched the coach program for AML, which has been exciting. And as we open up, I will just kind of see, really, we just assess what the needs are and what the need is with the feedback that we get from the community, and then look at how we can best provide that, depending on which program it is. We had feedback that there was a need. People were asking for AML coaches, so we were excited to launch that and are trying to get that going. And as we move and grow, just to be able to assess where there is interest, need, and coaches available to provide that support. That's a great question.
Awesome. Thank you. Terry, hi Terry, I'm glad you're here. You said you were going to come, so I'm glad that she's here. She's interested in becoming a coach, has only been dealing with this for about 6 months, but it was quite the learning curve, as we all know. And she's also a nurse, so she has a lot to offer. Is there like a timeline of when you're diagnosed to when you can become a coach?
That's a really great question. We don't have any qualifications. We don't require that coaches are at a certain point since their myeloma diagnosis. And it's been interesting for me to see the variety. There's some that maybe 6, 9 months, a year out, they've had a transplant, they've recovered, they're feeling good, they feel kind of back to some normal day to day, and they want to give back and they'll register to become a coach. But I've been surprised recently with individuals who are pretty early on in their journey. We had a coach register the last 6 months that she was prepping for her stem cell transplant, and now she's taking a break, but she was already like, you know what, I want to do this. And so she registered and got started and did our training and was doing some initial coaching, and then is now taking a break. And that's one thing I didn't cover, but there's a lot of ebb and flow to this program because these are real people with real lives in the thick of myeloma, that coaches are able to do just that, start and stop. Our site allows you to deactivate your profile. And so if you need to take a break for whatever it may be, whether it's myeloma related with treatment or whether it's personal, we have coaches that are moving or going on vacation and they'll deactivate their profile. And what that does is it just hides it from public view. So you don't get any coaching requests during that time, but keeps all the information there. So when you're ready to resume coaching, you can jump back in, activate your profile and move forward. But there's always a flux, and we have many coaches who are inactive right now who will likely return to activity when they're ready and able. So that's a great question. I'd say it's just personal. It's purely personal as far as when you feel you have the time and the energy to be able to share and give back. And with that as well, it's very personal as far as how many people that you're coaching. We have coaches that give me more, and we'll take on. And some people get 1 or 2 people and they say, okay, I want to deactivate my profile and just focus on these 2 people that I'm coaching. You can completely personalize the program based on what works for you at your specific time and phase and interest, really, to participate.
Yeah, very well said. That was going to be one of my questions about being able to take a hiatus from coaching for whatever reason. So thanks for also answering that question. Nancy's wondering if it is only for active multiple myeloma patients or if precursor patients who have MGUS or smoldering myeloma are able to be coached or coach as well.
Oh, excellent question. Definitely. So myeloma and all precursor conditions. And I would welcome any coaches that have experience with MGUS or smoldering, because that is an area we get requests frequently from patients, caregivers wanting someone that has experience in that area. So most definitely, everyone is all welcome.
Yeah. And we do have some coaches that are pretty active with precursor myeloma, right?
Mm-hmm. And so you're able to network with them. One thing I didn't mention, I talked about the ongoing support. you mentioned that with like help of talk to each other, is I host monthly meetings with the coaches and they support each other, and it's really fun for them to come together and they learn from each other as well. And so being able to offer that's really helpful for you as a coach. It's a great resource to be able to share. You can share your experience with them, so it helps them as they're talking to people, but also just personally sharing your experience with one another helps that peer-to-peer group, peer-to-peer coaching group.
Yeah, and I've liked too on HealthTree Connect, we have a private group for coaches and they're able to ask each other questions if somebody, one of their people that they're coaching has a rare or specific occurrence that's happening to them, they're able to ask each other. So you're not completely alone and it's not like, oh, what do I do? And Roz, I know you've also been a support and resource to coaches who might be feeling overwhelmed themselves with what their coachees might be going through. And of course, everything is kept confidential. That's why it's a private group. That's why, we're anonymous in the names that we share and things like that. I don't want you thinking that your things that you're sharing are going to be widespread, but just to show that it really is like this tight-knit community of emotional educational support, which is what is so unique about this.
Yes, exactly. And that is fun. The Connect group is great where coaches can connect with each other. And if there are questions, there's always someone there, right? They bring them to our monthly meeting or to the Connect group or to me, and we all help each other to try to find the resources or the answers.
Yeah, definitely. Nancy is reminding us to mention the financial coaching with the additional training. Do you want
Yeah,
to
that's
touch
great.
on that?
Yes. So coaches register and share their areas of experience, and those are posted in their profiles you saw in that video. And they also have the opportunity to join more specialized groups. So as they get coaching, maybe you have a particular area of interest that you have more experience in, or you want more experience in, such as financial resources. We have a specific financial coach team that's led out by our financial program director, Diana Valentine. And she meets with that group, provides additional training to them, and then they also meet and share resources and more in-depth and ongoing education. And those coaches are able to then offer that out to the community. We have a group of CureHub certified coaches who've demonstrated their understanding of HealthTree CureHub, and they've volunteered to be part of that group and help others with their HealthTree CureHub profile and educate in that. That's it for now, but we're always looking at expanding that, providing additional and more in-depth training to coaches where they need it and how they want or what they
Yeah,
want.
very well said. Vicky's she says, keep in mind that deactivating your profile keeps you from getting new coaches, but doesn't mean you won't be needed by your existing coaches.
Yeah, that's a great point, Vicky. And once you're connected with that coachee, you stay connected. Even if you become inactive for a time, you can maintain those connections and keep in touch with those people. And kind of like I said earlier, some people you may hear from them once or twice and you don't hear from them again. Others you may keep in touch, or you just may continue to keep in touch even if you don't hear from them, as was the case that I shared earlier. And so it just, that ebb and flow really happens. But it's, some of the coaches really, they rack up their numbers. They have 20, 30, 40 people that they've coached, and it might not be they're talking to 40 people every week, but throughout the course of their coaching, those are the connections that they've made, and in various forms and consistencies as far as the relationship.
Yeah, a couple things there. So number one, I just want to let everybody know that if you do start with a coach that you don't vibe with or that you don't get along with like you thought you would, you always have the option to find a different coach or to have more than one coach at the same time if you want a financial coach but really like the emotional coach that you have, or something like that. In addition, if the coach kind of really is ready to say goodbye to the program or really needs a complete break from the program, we have had coaches give their coachees offer their coachees a different coach to transfer to, and then the coachee can decide whether or not they want to do that. So just wanted to just give a more context and clarification to that issue that might come up. And
Yeah.
then this question fits well with what you were saying, Roz. What is that average number of coachees that most coaches have? Because I would say most coaches don't have that 20, 30.
Oh, no. I mean, those are coaches that have been with us since we started, right? That have connected with that many people. So just a quick point on your previous comment is that is another thing that sets our program apart. Not only can you choose your coach, but you can choose more than one coach.
Mhm.
You might have questions in more than one area, and the coaches have such varied areas of experience that we allow people the opportunity to work with more than one coach just for that reason. You could maybe be talking to one coach about financial, another about transplant, another about working and preparing for retirement while living with myeloma. And it's so varied. And so you can connect with those each individual depending on what area they have experience in. So that makes it wonderful. And if you do connect and it doesn't work, then you can say, thank you for your time, and I'm going to talk to someone else. And you find someone else. And same for the coach. If they feel like it's not a match, they can tell that person, I feel like there's someone else might be a better match for you. They could help them find them or direct them back to me, and I'll help them find someone so that we get that good match. Not everyone's a good fit in every single way. And then to your point, as far as average, it just varies. It varies. There's some coaches get kind of consistent requests every so often. Others have just had one or two. It really varies as coaches are creating their profile. I think that makes a difference. The more they allow and sharing their profile out, other people to get to know them, helps with that matching. And our new site has helped with that matching as well, where coaches are able to really refine the areas they have experience in with the depth our new site goes to as far as specific treatments and living with myeloma, and all the specific sub areas we have there really helps to be able to coaches to refine their profile and help those who are looking for a coach find the good match for them. So it really varies. And also coaches, once they register, we create cards for them. We call them coach contact cards that they can take out into the community, and it shares a little bit of information about them as well as information about the program. And so I see coaches who are really active in sharing about the program. Then people come in and request them, or they do get more requests because they're sharing the program with others in their community, with their providers. And that's really wonderful to see as well.
Yeah, definitely. I did notice that I forgot to turn off the raise hand feature. So if you wanted to raise your hand and ask your question out loud, I'm sorry. With the webinar format, it makes it a lot more difficult. But if you wouldn't mind just entering your question in, that would be wonderful. Yeah, this is a great question from Donna. She's wondering if she can be coached first and then later, after feeling more confident or knowledgeable, become a coach.
Yes. And that's why I wanted to show that video with Alicia, because you can be at any time a coach or a coachee. Say you register to be a coach and you're like, you know what? I want to be coached. You can make a switch. There's no right or wrong or no specific path you have to follow. And our new website makes it super easy to do that, where you can register with the same email and password. Say you register as a coach on the website. In the menu, it says switch to coachee. You click on that. We'll ask you a few questions about, what you would need to be coached, and then you can go and choose a coach. So it's really easy to switch back and forth with that. And we've had coaches do that. We've had several coachees want to become a coach, like Alicia, similar to that. But I've had coaches who've been coaching for quite a while saying, I need a coach now. I need someone to talk to. And they also kind of organically do that as well, because they get to know the coaches in our monthly meetings and groups, that then they make friends, and they may be informally being coached just through the support that they've sought out and developed and achieved through that coach group and the friendships that have formed there.
Yeah,
That's a great
definitely.
question.
We do have time for a couple more questions if anybody has any pressing questions pending. One that we always get, but we didn't go into detail today, is about that coach summit. First, I
yeah.
want to talk about what constitutes an active coach, since you just refreshing that, since you do have to be an active coach to attend the coach summit. And then if you want to briefly explain what the Coach Summit is.
Yeah. So, like I said, I'm always looking at ways to bring coaches together because we learn so much from each other, and not just from our myeloma experience. Our coaches have a wide range of professional experience. You mentioned the woman who's interested in becoming a coach, and she's also a nurse. We have many nurses and people just from wide walks of backgrounds professionally and have so much to offer. So we have the monthly support, also do quarterly education and training, and then once a year host an annual in-person summit where we bring all of the coaches together to be able to meet each other, network, to learn. We have coach specific training on HealthTree tools and education, and then we have a day of learning for myeloma specialists. And that is open to all, as Audrey mentioned, active coaches. So coaches who have an active profile, who are actively coaching, who are actively sharing about the program, engaged in the community. And we invite them to come and pay for their travel to come and pay for their lodging and meals so that we can learn and grow together. And that really does help deepen those connections coach to coach and with our team to be able to meet people. We just love it, and to get feedback and learn ways we can improve, and also just provide that really meaningful and helpful education to help coaches in their role to be able to help others. So
Yeah, it really is a great reward for all of the volunteer hours and effort that these coaches put into meaningful relationships. It's exciting.
it's an amazing event and really look forward to. So
Yeah. Great. Well, I didn't get any more questions, so we'll finish up. Is there any words you would like to share as we finish up today?
oh no, I just appreciate all who have attended, and I just hope that if you have any questions, you'll reach out to us. If you're in the program and have questions or haven't sought out a coach, I hope that you'll not hesitate to reach out to me so we can help get you connected. And just that value of that emotional, I appreciated the title of this, that emotional support. A lot of times we're so focused on the education and the learning and what do I need to know and all of these things, but having myeloma is emotional and it's not just about the facts. I mean, you need all those facts, and we need all the information to help us to get the right treatment and to live longer, but it's an emotional journey. And to be able to find someone who can talk at that level and personally connect, it really is powerful. So thanks so much. And please reach
Yeah.
out. We're here to help.
Thank you, Roz. We sure love you. Everybody loves you. You're just amazing at what you do. So thank you so much.
Thank
I'm
you.
going to close out with just a couple of outro announcements and then we can finish up for today. So tomorrow night is our Mountain West chapter. So that's if you're in Montana, Idaho, Colorado, Wyoming, Utah, even Nevada, you can join us to talk about how myeloma treatments get to you. We have a representative from IBM who works hand in hand with pharma companies and marketing, and he's going to kind of go over how pharma gets these drugs to patients and the important process that happens to deliver these life-saving medicines. And then we don't meet again until the next Tuesday, which is our Florida myeloma chapter, and it's a discussion on bone health. And then that's with Dr. Alcina from Moffitt. And then the Wednesday, the 24th at 5 p.m. Eastern, so it's a little earlier than usual, is our MGUS smoldering chapter, and it's going to be clinical trials for smoldering myeloma patients. The link to sign up for any of those events and even more events I didn't mention today is found at the bottom of the slide and will be included in our follow-up email. Another thank you to our sponsors, Amgen, AbbVie, Adaptive Biotechnologies, Janssen Oncology, Genentech, and Bristol Myers Squibb. Thank you again, Roz, and thank you to each of you for either viewing the recording or being here live. We do appreciate you and hope you have a great rest of your day. Thanks, everyone.
Thank
Bye-bye.
you. Bye-bye.